not miss
Bad
any more
for them,
classes.
right?
Not miss any more classes.
So
Oh my
everybody,
God.
I know. Oh, there you go. This is my, what did you call him, Ansel? My vocal sensei? Who was it that said that? Orion, put your video on.
Oh, fine.
He is my my vocal sensei. And it's been a long time, David.
Yeah.
We first spoke, I looked it up, November of 2014.
Wow.
I know. That's when we were trying to hook up.
November
Of 2014. We were on our way, our first email, to Berlin to do some shows. And one of my members, he knew this guy that he went to school with, David, and he wanted us to hook up. And you couldn't make the concert because you were out of town.
Right.
Right. But then you came back in. So I started lessons in February of 2015.
True.
Uh-huh.
It was right after you got back from Christmas vacation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was. I was excited about that. So
well, Miss Jacques is so proud of you guys. She's talking about y'all all the time.
That's right. I've got some
All
great
the time.
bad things.
No, all good things. And sometimes she sends me the videos, like the videos of the band, and it's just wonderful. It really is. It's really wonderful. I had a very big connection to the Houston School of the Performing Arts when I was living in Houston, of course. Yeah, when I was living in Houston training Destiny's Child, I was doing a lot of work with the Houston School of the Arts. So, looks like the rest of the class might be joining.
I see Roberto. Roberto, I need to see your video. Come on. I wrote that. They try to hide on me, so I can't see there and they're doing stuff. Daniel, turn your audio on.
Yeah, it's funny when we were.
I don't care if you just woke up.
Yeah, because like you could literally sign in.
He said, "I just woke up though."
His hair's probably all over the place. I don't care.
That's right.
So this is being it's going to be televised, y'all. It's going to be put on our website, OSA. And
wonderful.
I'm really excited. David, how many of you really, really watched the video I sent you? Raise your hand.
It was just short.
It was really short. You didn't watch it? You're all getting an F for today. Okay. David, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Oh my God, what's to tell?
I've been telling them forever.
Okay, well, I started singing when I was 3, or should I say I was discovered when I was 3. My grandparents were both performers. My grandmother was a singer. My grandfather was a dancer. And if you hold on, I'll go in and show you them. And I was singing the Oscar Mayer Wiener commercial. And you know, in 1965, that tells the kids how old I am. In 1965, there was a commercial that Oscar Mayer Wiener made, and it was like a minute long, 60 seconds long. This little boy and marching, and it was. I just thought it just captured my attention. And he would, of course, sing the song, and then I was singing the song, and then marching, and I started dancing to it and everything. And my grandparents saw me and thought, "Ooh, I think we got one." And from that day forward, I had lessons every Saturday. I had singing lessons and music lessons with my grandmother and dance lessons with my grandfather. And so that's how I got started. Then when I was 15, I became a professional dancer. And after, I think I danced until 24. And then I stopped to study singing. like really, really permanently. I mean, I'm not permanently, intensively, because it was very interesting. My dance teacher, you know, in dance, you have to have a tight center, a pulled in center. And in singing, you have to have a loose center. So I was pulling in and loosening, pulling in and loosening, and everything was going to hell. So my teachers were like, okay, you have to make a decision. So since I had already had some measure of success as a dancer, I thought, okay, it's time for me to try singing. So then I switched. Here. Okay. Okay, yeah. So I can show you this. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's my papa and my mama. That's my grandmother and grandfather. And they were performers and big socialites in Omaha, Nebraska, where I'm from. And yeah, that's how I got started singing. And then I got a scholarship when I was 17 to go to college, a music scholarship. I entered college when I was 18 because my birthday is in July. So I had turned 18 just 1 month before school started. And then I started studying opera. But the reason why, how I got to opera, that's an interesting story because my grandmother wanted me to sing gospel. And I love gospel, but that wasn't for me. And so what happened was in my French class, we studied the opera Carmen. And as a prize, our teacher told us that she was going to take us to see the opera. And I'd never been to an opera before. And I was sitting in the balcony and they started to sing and I was just mesmerized because I kept looking for the microphones. I didn't see any microphones because all I had known in church was you stand up to the microphone and you sing. There were no microphones and I kept looking for them. And my teacher said, there are no microphones. You have to learn to project your natural voice. And I said, oh, get out of here. That's their natural voice? And she said, yeah. I said, but I can hear him like he's sitting next to me. And she said, yeah, it's called projection. Well, I was bitten. Then she told me that it was the most difficult of all the art forms. And that's all she had to say. I love a challenge. So I started studying opera at 18 and did my debut at 23. And at 25, I met a little girl named Beyonce and started teaching her. And I formed a girl group called Destiny's Child, choosing each girl for the group. I spent 11 years building that group for success. And then I started my career. I started my career 4 years before they actually signed the contract. Well, not actually 4 years because they signed the contract a year after I had been away. I'd gone on tour. And so when they were 16, they signed a recording contract, lost the contract, and then signed another one about 3 months after. And that was the one that they ended up with at Sony. And then I stayed with them 3 more years. And in 2000, I moved to Europe and they broke up. And the rest is history. So I moved to Europe and I was singing opera. I was singing opera all over the world before I moved to Europe, San Francisco. I'd never sung at Oakland, but I'd sung in San Francisco quite a bit. And Los Angeles opera, and San Diego. Those are the only 3 places that I sang in California. But I sang all over the United States, all over Europe, mostly in France, Portugal, Italy, and then a little small voice told me to move to Germany, so I did, and I've been here ever since.
David, I think it's fascinating that the first opera that you saw and fell in love with was Carmen, because that was my very first when I was in high school. When I heard Carmen, I was
Yeah, it's
blown away.
it's the perfect opera to take kids to because it's
Yeah.
drama. It's love and slutty love, you know, and and death and murder and you know, everything that kids can relate to
Right.
today, living in the world. And so it was, you know, the other one to go to if you're going to be young, a kid would be Madama Butterfly. This would be perfect to go to. But yeah, it was Carmen, and I was absolutely, I've sung Carmen 4 productions in my life, 4 productions, and each production was between 6 and 10 performances. So it's not as much as the Duke of Mantua, Rigoletto. I've sung Rigoletto 64 times. So yeah. So and then, you know, so after I sang opera in Europe for 3 years, then I started teaching again because after Destiny's Child broke up, that was really hard for me. That was a difficult. I mean, because that was my baby. I put it together. I discovered the group. And when they broke up, I just didn't feel like teaching. I was really just like over it. You know, I was just over the whole thing. And I wouldn't give a lesson to anybody. I don't care who they were. You couldn't pay me enough to teach a lesson. I just felt so angry about it. And then 3 years later, I started teaching again. And I took 1 student, and then the second student came, and then the third student came. And I moved to Berlin in 2003 from Weimar, where I was living before. And I lived in Weimar from 2000 to 2003. Then I moved to Berlin. I continued to teach. By 2007, I had gotten 2 people signed to record labels. Today, I have 16 platinum selling artists in Europe and Asia. So I'm coming back to the United States.
Yay!
It's time for me to do something in the United States. And so I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, but I'm definitely gonna be coming back to the United States and, you know, reconnecting with my people.
Yes, yes.
And I can't wait. And I promised you that I'm going to come and teach a masterclass.
Yes.
At your school, and so I will keep that promise. And I'll let you guys know as soon as this coronavirus is over and I'm going to be in the United States. I will coordinate that with Mrs. Jacques and come and see you guys live.
Right. Well, does anyone have any questions they want to ask? Raise your hand. Don't be scared.
The first person.
What is your question, honey? Roberto.
Oh, I think he said something in the chats.
Oh, he did something in. Okay, ask your question in the chat. And
I want to see Roberto.
I know.
Roberto has to ask. He has to
He's
speak.
funny looking. Somebody else. Well, you're taking too long, Roberto. Someone else. Ask. Okay, Liliana.
Get your question together.
Okay. Since I'm a big fan of Billie Eilish and her backstory is working directly with her brother, she had to work a lot with a home studio technology. Do you see the benefits of laying down vocals and having somebody who can produce your own particular sound?
Okay. Who did something with their brother?
Billie Eilish.
Billie Eilish.
Okay. And so she did a lot of home studio stuff. And so her question is, do I think that home studio is a good idea to find your style? I didn't quite understand her question.
Here, I'll repeat it.
Yeah.
Since I'm a big fan of Billie Eilish and her
Liliana, don't be shy. Really articulate.
Yes, because it's a little muffled.
Since I'm a big fan of Billie Eilish and her backstory is working directly with her brother, she had to do a lot of home studio technology. Do you
Yes.
see the benefits of laying down vocals and having somebody who can produce your own particular sound?
Yeah, I think today in 2020, the artist is required to do everything. When Destiny's Child was coming out on the market, they were the singers. They went in the studio, made the record, they wrote, but they had people doing everything. There was a sound engineer, but you know, you got signed, and then the AR chose the songs for you, and they chose the songs. You don't get to choose the song. Especially in America, the A&R is responsible for the project. So they choose the songs. The girls would go into the studio, they would record, somebody would mix it. There's a master producer. I was the vocal producer, so I did all of the vocals and the arrangements and all of that stuff together with Beyonce. And but today, the record label is wanting the singer to come with a finished product. And that means your album or your EP already done, professionally mixed and mastered. So any opportunity that you have to learn how to do that and to like learn it to be to do it well, especially as a girl, because girls in the business are treated like little dolls.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're supposed to be helpless, and all the men want to just help you. They want you to just go sit over in the corner and they'll take care of it for you. And that's not how you build a brand. You have to fight when you're a girl. So you need as much knowledge as possible. So yeah, a home studio, you know, even if you just start with a tape machine or some sort of machine, just sing into it and listen back and sing into it and listen back and sing into it and listen back and try to be discerning. What am I doing wrong? What don't I like about that sound? In terms of finding your own voice, because I'm sure some of you have that question, how do you find your own sound? How do you discover your own sound? The only way to discover your own sound is through copying. You have to copy other artists.
Mm-hmm.
And as you copy these artists, you begin to understand if runs are your thing, or if belting is your thing, or soft singing is your thing, or whatever your thing is, whatever gets people's attention in your voice is pretty much going to be your style. And then you have to then take it from there. But nobody gets their own style just because you have an original song. I mean, one of the hardest things to do in the world is to record an original song.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because it's all on your shoulders. Nobody has done it before, so you don't have any ideas about it. And when you're young, you aren't so connected to your emotions as you will be when you get older. And so copying Beyonce, Rihanna, Billie Eilish, just copy. If they bend the note, bend the note. If they do a run, try to learn how to do that run. You just copy until you can get it. And from there, you begin to discover who you are. But it's through Beyonce copied. I had her copy every genre. There were several artists that she copied. And she had to do it in every genre: jazz, pop, R&B, soul, rock, classical. I made her study. That's a very interesting story. When she was 14, I got a little small voice in my head. You know, this little voice talks to me a lot. And my grandmother taught me that that was the voice of God. So I always listen when it tells me to do something. So when Beyonce was 14, I was told to teach her Carmen. And I thought, what? Okay. I don't know why I'm hearing that, but I'm going to follow your rules. So I gave her a Carmen of my adopted mother, Grace Bumbry, singing Carmen. She ate it up. She ate it up. The next lesson she came and she was singing the habanera. Da, 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 da. Rhythm perfect. She had even started trying to figure out the French on her own. We worked on it. We fixed it. We worked on that for about a year, off and on, Carmen. So we put it down when she was 15, maybe 15 and a half. And then I said, okay, just, I was supposed to teach you that for some reason. I don't know why, but, maybe it was for the foreign language, or I don't know what it was for. But anyway, you've done very well. And let's move on to the next genre. So we did that. And Beyonce's first movie, she got the first movie deal. What was it? Hip Hop Carmen.
That's right.
I was like, okay. So she was ready, So instinct is very important in the life of an artist. You have to learn to listen to your spirit. You have to learn to listen to what the universe is telling you, and follow through. Don't be afraid. Follow through. And you have to learn the difference between what you think the universe is telling you and what the universe is actually telling you. You have to be still. You have to be quiet. You just don't jump at the first thing. You really have to know that this is what you're supposed to be doing, and then do it without fear, because there's a reason. And you don't know what that reason is. She had no clue what that reason was. But the first movie was Hip Hop Carmen. And then in 2005, I think it was, many years later, she was chosen by the Oscars to sing the title tracks of all the movies of the year. And you can see that performance on YouTube. And one of the things was French. And she was able to do it, and she was praised for being able to jump in and out of all of those genres. And that is the thing that separates my girls and my students from any other student. I just don't teach voice. I'm teaching you voice, but I'm not teaching voice. I'm teaching you performance. I'm teaching you to be a recording artist, because if you can't do it in that little booth with nobody in there with you and that microphone in front of your face, if you can't communicate the energy and the drama and the pain and the joy, if you cannot communicate that to that microphone in a way that the producer and your fans believe it, then you can't be a recording artist. So many voice teachers teach, and they teach, for the stage. Well, I do that too, but I teach less for the stage and more for the room, because two things are gonna happen. When you audition for a record label, it's gonna be in a room. And it most likely will be a dry room acoustically. And I don't know how many of you all have ever sung in a dry room acoustically, but you feel like your voice is not traveling, they can't hear you, then you start pushing, and then your throat gets tight. And so we went through, I left no stone unturned. They had to be able to sing in a dry room. They had to sing on the stage, and learn not to push their voice, and learn to trust the frequency, hertz, the sound wave. They had to learn to trust that. And they also had to be able to sing in that recording studio, because that microphone picks up what you give it. And if you're not certain, the microphone hears it, and it just plays back what you give it.
Yep.
So from the day one, I'm training my students to be recording artists, because you need to sell the record. Before anybody comes to your concert, they have to buy the record.
Mm-hmm.
And that record has got to be exquisite. People have got to listen to that record and be pulled into it almost immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And that takes skill. And it starts with imitation. It starts with imitation. So you guys should be imitating any and everybody you want. Girls, boys, groups, any kind of singer, gospel, learning all the styles. You got to immerse yourself into music. That's all I do. People call me a nerd because all I do is music. It's music.
Mm-hmm.
Everything I do is music. Also television. Every
Mm-hmm.
television show that I've ever produced has been a music show. Everything is about music. I stay in my lane. I don't go outside of my lane because that's how you have success. You have to discover your lane and then stay in it. And all these people, you know, artists today, they think about money and fame. And so they create products and they're selling wigs and they're selling makeup and they're selling all kinds of stuff. And that's not their lane. And they wonder why the fans don't believe it, or, you know, why they don't run to the store and buy it all up. Because in order to sell product, and you are the product. In order to sell product, you have to be believable.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to believe what you're selling.
This
you
is
gotta
great.
believe it. You gotta believe it. And so
David,
I'm sure Miss Jacques is, yeah.
Roberto just wrote, I think Kanye West is a good example.
A good example of
what?
jumping
Roberto?
around.
Jumping around or?
Making clothes and trying to sing and trying to do this and trying to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You didn't say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the only thing that Kanye West is really good at is music.
Yeah.
But, you know, I get it. People want to diversify and they want to try this and they want to try that. Yeah, about rapping and selling shoes. Well, I haven't seen any of his shoes. I don't know that I would wear any of his clothes. They're a little bland and knapsacky to me. But his music is amazing, and his songwriting is even more amazing than his music. I really think that he is a musical genius. I do. I think he is. A lot of people in the business, a lot of friends of mine say that he is legitimately crazy. But I don't know. I've never met him. But I do know that he's a musical genius. Mm-hmm. I have over 5 pairs of his shoes. Wow. So somebody's a Kanye West fan.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere.
He's still crazy, but yeah.
Yeah. Maybe Roberto's crazy.
He is crazy. How'd you know that? It's true.
I don't know, but I think that's wonderful. But Roberto, I would like to ask Roberto, I want to ask a question, because you guys are young and you are the target audience for the music industry. What is your favorite artist? I would like to hear from as many of you that would like to tell me, who is your favorite artist and why?
Mm-hmm. Zion.
What excites you about the artist that you love?
Who do you like?
Okay.
Come on, speak up.
Many.
One of my favorite artists right now is James Blake, because I did and experimental and tries a bunch of different genres, like you were saying.
Uh-huh. So you appreciate his risk taking.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's all? You don't like his voice?
No, I love his voice too.
You love his voice
I just
too?
Really, yeah.
And how much does his face excite you?
Not. Not.
That's what all boy singers are hoping, that every little girl loves their face.
Mm-hmm.
They want you to fall in love with them, so you buy the
Right.
record.
Hey, Kira,
They do.
who's your favorite?
I guess my favorite artist right now would be Brendan Urie. His vocal range is incredible.
Okay.
So I just find that really cool to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And
Wonderful.
is he writing his own songs?
I don't really know.
Okay. The next time I see you, you will know. Okay.
How about
I want
you,
you to
Orion?
research that.
Well, it's not a specific person, but I like genres. Like right now, I recently watched this crazy concert. I think it was called One World Together or something. And I was really glad about it because I was so like surprised about how music was able to continue and bring hope to a lot
So
of
many
people
different
and me.
people. Yeah. So that might mean that you really appreciate what's called world music. You probably enjoy music in other languages, even though you don't understand what the language is.
Yeah.
So you're very open.
Yeah, I don't really stick to one genre. I mean,
Okay.
for like all genres, like some songs and genres I don't like, but I'm pretty open to kind of all genres, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's very interesting. Very interesting. You don't find many young people that kind of see music as a world thing. They usually see music as their favorite artist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's very, very closed, very narrow. So when you meet a young person who sees it a little bit more brighter or broader, that was a German word, so I have to remember I'm speaking in English, more broad, that's always very interesting. That's always very interesting. Is there somebody else who would like to talk about your favorite singer?
Ansel,
I don't really have one.
you don't
really have one.
No.
Okay, what about you? Aren't you your favorite singer?
No, because I
What
only
about
really
me?
know myself in recordings, and in recordings, I just have to say, like, no.
Okay. But you don't really have one. What's your favorite song today?
Blue Skies.
Do do dee 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 dee. That one?
Yeah. Oh, actually.
Okay. And
the
who's
blue
singing
skies, da 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 da. That
Yeah,
one.
that one.
Oh,
That one.
so that's jazz.
Yep.
Okay.
My
So
favorite genre.
we have identified the favorite genre at least. It's jazz. And why jazz?
I don't
That's
know. It's
not-
just very upbeat and like cool.
Okay. So Mrs. Jacques can testify. What is her name again? What is your name again?
Oh,
That's
Ansel.
Ansel. That's his name.
Ansel. Oh, his name, Ansel.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ansel is very analytical.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
You got it.
As a general rule, he's very analytical because only children who are analyzing everything are lovers of jazz. Jazz is the most intense musical form that there is. Mm-hmm. Jazz musicians are the brightest musicians of all because the music theory is absolutely other level. Mm-hmm. It's just other level. You have to be able to go in and out of keys in seconds. You have to be able to listen to your colleague and see where they're going, namely the pianist or the singer. If the singer's going, if she's going to pivot or he's going to pivot to a new chord, mm-hmm. you got to be able to hear it and know where it's going. You can't say, look out, what key, what key? You can't say that on the stage. Can I ask something? Yes.
Roberto. Are you going to type it or are you going to say it?
Roberto must really look bad because Roberto never comes on the camera.
I know, he's a Leo.
Was Beyonce's voice natural talent or was it
The result of hard work and practice.
It's the result of hard work and practice. Now, let me answer that in a way that you can understand, because you will understand that I'm saying that I'm responsible for Beyonce's voice based on what I just said. We all have voices. I had a voice. I have a voice. Beyonce had a voice. Her sister had a voice. The homeless man down the street has a voice. Okay? So the fact that she was talented, the fact that she could sing did not mean that she knew how to sing. It did not mean that because she had talent, that she knew how to access that talent, and that she knew what to do with it, and that she knew how to hone that talent and make it special. So that is why I said she learned. She became great because she learned how to do it. And she learned to make it consistent so that she can call upon it whenever she needed to. Mm-hmm. And so that's the real answer.
Yeah.
That's the real answer.
We have time for one last question. Liliana, did you want to ask something? I know. Who has one?
Ask a question. I have a question.
Yes.
What should I call you, David or Mr. David?
You can call me David, Mr. David. Just don't call me Donald.
Don't do that.
Okay, sorry. I call a lot of my teachers Mrs. or Mr. So.
Okay,
yeah.
Mr. David is fine.
Yeah, Mr. David.
I appreciate your manners. Thank you. Thank your parents.
So, see, what was it? Oh yeah. When did your artistic journey start? Like, when did you know you wanted to be an artist?
I think, well, I was always being trained as an artist from at the age of 3 by my grandparents. But actually, during that whole time, I loved it. But my dream was to become a psychiatrist.
Really?
Yeah, I wanted to become a psychiatrist. I love the human mind, human behavior, what makes people do the things that they do. I absolutely love that. But whenever I would say that I was going to become a psychiatrist, my grandmother would say, "Okay, baby, don't forget your piano lesson." And she just kind of ignored it. So I think it kind of started for me once I went to that opera at 15. Something else inside me went click. And I could think of nothing else that I would rather do than that. Now, I got to do psychiatry as well, too, because a good voice teacher is a psychologist. We have to trick you into believing in yourself every day. So I got my way, I got my wish. But yeah, so it started for me, I guess, when I was 15, 16, when I went to that opera. And then it just kind of kept going from there. I got really, really serious about singing when I was about maybe 19, when I remember singing a concert in school and the entire audience stood up.
Wow, really?
And I thought, okay, what did I just do? You know, and that was kind of cool, you know, and every artist, once you get that kind of applause and attention, you want that every single time. Mm-hmm. And, but, you know, I was like the analytical student. I'm a very analytical person. I was very analytical. And I had to learn to, in connection with the analyzing, I had to also learn to access and understand emotion at the very deepest, at the very core level. And that is a lot of hard work. It's
Yeah,
a
that
lot of
sounds
hard work.
hard. That sounds
It's a
really
lot of hard work. It's a lot of hard work because, you know, it starts with truth. If you don't tell the truth, you'll never get it. You'll never get there. You have to be able to tell the truth, because that's what music is. It's somebody's truth. You didn't write the song, but whoever wrote that song, they went through something.
Mm-hmm.
And it's truth. And it's your job as the artist to figure that out. And then try to connect your own life to it so that you can communicate it at the very best you can. That's our job. We are painters with our voices. And we have 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah,
3 minutes
I always
and
tell
30
you guys
seconds.
that we are storytellers. We're actors.
Yes.
And you have to, when you sing a song, you have to let me know what it is. What is it you're singing about? I do this to you all the time. What are you singing about? What is it? It's just one thing to just sing it straight, and another to sing it with passion and tell that story and pull your audience in. That's really the important part of being a singer. So Liliana, I got a few minutes. Come on. What's your question, babe?
I already asked my question.
Oh, you did? Okay, then we're done.
Okay. Thank you for oh wait.
You're right. Go ahead.
Yes, I see you. I see you.
Wait, me?
What?
Yeah,
yes, I see you.
Okay. Oh, thank you. Sorry, I didn't know what was going on for a second. Thank you so much for educating us about what it's like to be an artist. It really inspired me. And yeah, thank you so much. I really liked learning about like genres, what it's like to what it means if you like certain genres and stuff. Like I really liked how like you said about Ansel, like when he liked jazz, like that kind of made him analytical. I never really thought about it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, continue doing your great work. I mean, Beyonce's amazing. Wow, yeah. And
Kelly is also amazing.
So is Kelly,
yes.
yeah.
Yes.
And Michelle.
Yes.
Yes, but Michelle's not my responsibility. I didn't.
There you go. There you go.
I'm not claiming that one.
Anyways, my eyes are starting to hurt from looking at a screen for so long.
Sweetie.
Okay.
And
let you go. Anybody else want to say anything?
Goodbye. Thank you so much.
Say goodbye.
Bye. It was wonderful to meet you.
Bye, Ryan. I kind of want to say something.
Go ahead.
I really wish my sister was here because she loves Destiny's Child. She would have loved.
Oh my God. Oh my
I wish she was
God. Oh my
here.
God.
Yes.
Well, just tell her that she missed out, and maybe she can come to the masterclass when I'm in town, and then she can like be live in the room. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
I look forward to meeting you.
I know. They're great kids.
Thank you.
Liliana,
Bye.
stay on. Everybody else, and David, stay on. Everybody else can hang up. Bye. Get out.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Get out. I still see you, Roberto. Get out of here. He is my
like,
Leo
hey,
child. Okay.
Oh, why she get to stay?
He had a special question. Bye, babe. Love you.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Come on, we're going to run out of time.
I have an instrumental. It's like a bluesy jazz of a pop song that I've been working
Okay, wait.
It's like,
It's not very clear.
Not clear.
Can you hold your microphone up to your mouth,
right
please?
there. Like right here.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I have an instrumental of a song from Dua Lipa, if you say it like that. But it's like a bluesy piano version, like a jazzy piano bluesy.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been working on this one instead of the pop song. so let me take the AirPod out.
Sing a little bit for me, Liliana.
That song.
Acapella.
Oh, okay.
Make sure that the microphone's in front of your mouth.
Yeah.
If you don't wanna see me dancing with somebody, if you wanna believe that anything could stop me, don't show up, don't come out, don't start caring about me now. Walk away, you know how. Don't start caring about me now. Did it for 180, crazy.
Very good writing. Very good writing. Very good writing. You should definitely keep up your writing. It's very, very good. The melody choice is very good. The choice of rhythm, it matches. The lyrics are great. It's great. And your voice is beautiful. Very naturally connected. Is she working on breath?
I just woke up. That's why it's like I haven't warmed up my voice either.
Ask Mrs. Jacques to talk to you about the humming.
We'll do that, okay?
That will help her. That will help her to even secure it better because she has nice feeling. But you know, at this young age, you can't expect it to be where it's going to be at 24, 23, 24, 25 years old. But it's very nice. Very nice. Congratulations.
Thank you, sweetie. I'll see you later, okay?
Bye.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye-bye, Liliana.
Bye.
David, thank you so much for coming and sharing with these kids. They are they're all super talented.
Yes.
Super talented.
Wonderful.
And I can't wait for that.
It was my pleasure.
You can have a great time with the master class.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it. As soon as we get coronavirus done,
Lord.
I mean, it's supposed to hang around for 16 to 18 months. So I don't expect it to go away, but